Why is this team so annoying? Just why? I was ready to hop on this stream with big time confidence, yelling about how Russ is back. We're Super Bowl contenders. Don't mess with the Steelers. Don't sleep on the Steelers. We're back. Steelers are back. Now, I think all that's true still, but I don't think I can start off with that. I think annoying is the more appropriate word to use with this team after that game that just took place. Because, like, of course, we have everything all but locked up in the early fourth quarter. Russ is, in fact, looking like prime Russ. He's looking like he's back. He just throws that really nice teardrop touchdown pass to Calvin Austin, throws the long bomb to Pickens. We're up 2 scores. But then the defense continues to be Swiss cheese. Russ fumbles it. And the Giants have a chance to legitimately tie it at the end of the game. Danny Dimes and the Giants offense gets over midfield with, I don't know, what was that, 20, 30 seconds left. Like they had like a legit chance, a legit chance. With all that being said, winning ain't everything. Winning is the only thing. It is about getting dubs. And I'm seeing some of you guys in the chat saying the same thing. Sandman9192 says, a win is a win. Very annoying game, though, but a win is a win. So now that we got that off the plate, or that out of the way at the beginning of this show, that, yes, that was annoying. That was an annoying game. The Steelers team can be annoying at times. That's out of the way. I'm kind of liking where we're at right now. It wasn't perfect, but look across the rest of the league. What NFL squad is perfect right now? I feel like we're right where we want to be. We're 6-2, on top of the AFC North, and we are legit contenders. We are, because you got the offense going 0 for 4 in the red zone, and we still put up 26 points. If Russ is looking like that, now the fumble and everything, I get it. Yeah, not good. But Russ, for 95% of that game, was playing like Russell Wilson, was playing like Seattle Russell Wilson, was looking like prime Russ. So you mean to tell me we got that version of Russ here in Pittsburgh? We knew what that was like with Big Ben. When you got a quarterback playing like that, it doesn't matter how the defense is playing, what's necessarily going wrong throughout the course of the game. If you got that type of guy, you go into the stadium each and every week thinking that you got a chance. No matter how ugly the game is or what's going on through the course of the game, you're down double digits, there's penalties, defense is playing bad. You got Russell Wilson playing like that, you got a chance. Like, that's my point, in that we are contenders. We are legit Super Bowl contenders. We thought this defense was going to be better, and I'm holding out hope that it does get its act together at some point here after the bye, because we can't even be blaming these defensive performance recently on injuries, man. Like, we're pretty much like fully healthy. Like, at least the offense could talk about how banged up the offensive line is. Defense, who's the only guy out? Herbig. Like, what's going on? Why are we letting guys like Tyrone Tracy Jr. go off for $145 and a touchdown on 20 carries? Why are we letting Darius Slayton have a career day against us? 4 receptions, 108 yards. We held Malik Neighbors in check for the most part, 7 receptions, 72, but part of that was him not being able to get his feet down for a touchdown and dropping a couple passes. Like, we got blessed on that. I got blessed with the Giants and a lot of their self-destruction on offense with the penalties too. So I don't know what the hell's going on with this defense. We got the star power, though. You got a TJ Watt. You got a Minka. I don't know what's been going on with Minka recently either. You know, the firepower that we got on defense. Like, I'm just hoping that we can course correct and get things right at some point. But If you got Russ playing like Russ is playing, we're good either way. We're going to be in the mix no matter what. But if this defense can start getting it together, then yeah, we're a major problem in the AFC and across the league. Because as I said, you got a franchise quarterback playing like the way Russell Wilson has, that'll make up for a lot of mistakes on defense, penalties, all that stuff. But if we can hopefully get that defense straightened out, then yeah, we're even more in the mix. We're even more of a threat. But I think we're already a threat with where we are at right now at 6-2, top of the AFC North. Russell Wilson playing like prime Russell Wilson. Sandman 9192 agrees with me again. He says, heck yeah, with Wilson playing well, if the D can play lights out, we talking Super Bowl. Absolutely. Now, this is interesting. This is an interesting comment being brought up by God of Sports 39. It says, not a good game, but keep Darius Slayton in the building. Do we need the receiver that bad after seeing what Van Jefferson did and Calvin Austin? I brought that point up earlier in the week in one of my videos where I was asking after Cooper Kupp, he had his Thursday night performance with the Rams, and it was pretty obvious that the Rams weren't going to be trading Kupp anymore. So I looked at the rest of the receiver landscape out there of guys who could be available for trade. I was like, man, are we sure any of these dudes are going to step in here on a moving train, middle of the season, and automatically be better than what a Van Jefferson, like a combination of Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin could be going forward with Russell Wilson as their quarterback? So I thought it was open-ended. I didn't think it would be a guarantee if Darius Slayton or a Mike Williams or some of these other dudes that are out there would step in and be bona fide wide receiver number 2, giving us 60, 70 yards a game. I didn't know if that would be the case versus maybe Calvin Austin or Van Jefferson combining for 60, 70 yards, maybe 80, 90 to 100 yards. Maybe one of those guys could get us at least a solid 50 game in and game out. And based off of today's game, I think we could lean more on the Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin side of that equation or that question of would they be able to be legitimate threats in this offense going? Could they be consistent forces? I mean, Van Jefferson, 4 receptions, 62 yards. Calvin Austin, 3 receptions, 54 yards, a touchdown. And also you got to shout them out for the punt return touchdown too. It seems like they can be legitimate weapons with Russell Wilson at quarterback. Are we getting a guaranteed upgrade over that with a Mike Williams or a Darius Slayton coming in here, hopping on the moving train, trying to get familiar with a new system, new team, all that? Whereas you have Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin, they've been here. Van Jefferson, I know this is his first year, but he was here all the way back. OTAs, training camp. Calvin Austin, he's been here for a few years, but just the fact that they have that continuity here, albeit their production hasn't been the best for the first 6 weeks, part of that could be the style of offense we were running with Justin Fields, because we did get to see with Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin just last week a little bit of uptick in what we were asking them to do. Van Jefferson caught the touchdown. Calvin Austin had a couple passes thrown his way. Now he dropped the one, but at least they gave you a little bit of a sign that okay, maybe there is a chemistry. Maybe there is something there with these two guys and Russ. And then today proved that even more, man. Like, you mean to tell me they couldn't give us this on a somewhat consistent basis going forward? Yeah, I don't know if it's a guarantee that we need one of these wide receiver 2s that bad. Obviously, adding a Darius Slayton wouldn't hurt. I think for depth purposes, that would be the case to make it, because if one of these guys go down, namely a George Pickens, what are we doing? I think we're hurting a lot at the receiver position. But good game from the secondary receivers, Van Jefferson, CA3. I mean, Pickens even had a good game with the 4 receptions, 74 yards. Now, we could talk about the catch with him. I'll do that in a few minutes here. I guess no catch, bogus rule. Then Tomlin challenges. I don't know what happened there. Darnell Washington had a nice catch for 29 yards. Frymouth with a couple. Najee. Jaylen Warren had that one really nice catch on third down. It was a screen pass. It was 3rd and 12. As soon as we called that play and Russ threw it to Jaylen, I'm like, what are we doing, man? We just punting. We looking to get to 4th down here. And Jaylen Warren did vintage Jaylen Warren type of things. What do you guys think on the whole wide receiver talk? Agree with me? Disagree with me? Tommy Vincent says Austin and Jefferson seem to be the wide receivers we need. Look good to me. Didn't look like we were lacking in any receiver depth tonight. Oh, that's a good question. This is on the defensive side of things. Noah123 says, "Who are you starting, Beanie or Sutton?" I think you got to start Cam Sutton. Maybe not the first game back. Maybe ease him along and slowly, but Cam Sutton is going to be our starting slot corner. Kenobi76 says, "Let's get Slayton." He had a good game tonight. I got to give him credit. God of Sports 39 says, "No, Van Jefferson can't consistently do that." Okay. He did have 800 yards in a season for the Rams. I know his last couple years haven't been that good, but maybe part of that's opportunity and going to a different team like the Falcons, just not really carving out a role for himself. Steel Chopsticks says, "We don't need a trade. Continue developing Jefferson and Austin." Tommy Vincent giving me some props. Says, "Deke, you literally called it. Jefferson and Austin getting 100 yards between them is better than a trade." And they had more than 100 yards. They had 116 yards total. So even a little bit more. Kenobi76 asked, "If Russ started, are we 8-0? If Russ was playing like this the whole season, yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. Now the Colts game actually might be a different story. Because Fields, I thought, played really good in that Colts game. He wasn't the reason that we didn't score in the first half. That was because of a Pickens fumble. That was because of a Broderick Jones penalty and us not deciding to kick with Boswell, the long field goal. And then he balled out in the second half. Now, maybe Russ clutches up with the final drive, but Russ also would have had to score like 3 touchdowns in 3 series to even get us to the point where we were in that game, to get the ball back with a chance to tie it up or win it with 2 minutes left. And yeah, if Russ is playing like what we've seen these 2 games, is he capable of doing that? Sure, definitely. So yeah, 8-0, 7-1, something like that. I think we definitely win the Cowboys game with Russ. I think he could have given us better play than Fields in that one. Tommy Vincent says, "Sorry, but Fields is my QB1. That's my dog." Dude, you can't deny how Russ has been playing, though. Russ has been, he's looked really good these 2 games. He looks like prime Russ. I don't even think there's a debate between what he's been doing and what Fields did those first 6 weeks at this point. And I think Fields played good. I even said I wanted to stick with Fields for that Jets Sunday Night Football game, but I think Russ put all those talks to bed, or any controversy to bed, with how he's played these 2 games. Yeah, I saw that with Dan Moore. Miles Reed says, "Hope Dan Moore is okay, though." Yeah, we need him to be okay because we saw what happened the one play that he was out. We definitely need him to be okay. All right, let me read 1 or 2 more here. Glenn Hunter says, "Zach Frazier and Cordell Patterson will be back." Yeah, we'll need that help on offense for sure. Yeah, that should help us out. I mean, Frazier, big time upgrade over McCollum at center. I've liked how McCollum's been playing, though. I don't think he's been playing terrible. Today was a tough matchup for him, but Patterson, I think he's gonna help us out in the run game, even though we don't need it that bad because Najee's been balling out. This is 3 100-yard games for him in a row, and Warren looks like he's back to form. I think he will help us out in the run game a little bit because we saw what he did against the Colts a few weeks back. Like, he just brings a different dynamic. All-pro retirement. He can do things with the ball in space that I don't even think, and you guys know I'm high on Jaylen Warren. I don't even think a Jaylen Warren can do just because of Cordell Patterson's size and how fast he could get when he gets moving. When he can get 10, 20 yards downfield, it's tough to tackle the dude. And you saw the type of cuts he was making, the decisiveness he was running with in that Indy game. So I think he's going to help us in the run game, even though we don't need it that bad. But particularly in the pass game, because I got to see him do some stuff in the pass game before he got hurt. And just some of the little things we were doing. And remember, with Fields, we weren't even passing the ball like that much. So I wonder if we can have even more formations, more snaps for Patterson when he gets back. Let's talk about Najee, though, because I'm seeing Miles Reed bring up Najee. I mentioned him briefly there. Miles Reed says that Najee spin early was filthy. Yeah, this is the best I've seen from Najee. If Najee has been running like this every time or every game or for the majority of the games in his first 3 years here, then I wouldn't have even had a question about giving him the 5th-year option. I wouldn't have had a question about giving him a contract extension because he's running like an elite running back. He's doing everything right now. It seems like, I don't know if you want to say the game's slowing down for him. I don't know if you want to say he's just hitting his prime at a perfect point right now in the middle of this 2024 season. I don't know what it is, but he's doing everything right because he's being the physical Najee Harris that we know and love, like those type of things that you're getting from Najee Harris, him running over people, him falling forward, taking a whole pile with him for an extra 4 or 5 yards. But the stuff that we've lamented about Najee's run style and have complained about with him, the jukes and the unnecessary jumping and him trying to be a finesse back, he's picking his spots to do those things perfectly right now. Like, he's actually showing some dynamic playmaking with the spins, the jukes, actually making them effective, as opposed to whenever he would do them in the past, it would be like he's running backwards or not helping his case at all, not moving forward. It's like, bro, you're a big back, just run to the open lane or run over this dude. That will get us the first down. We're 2 yards away from a first down. Just do that instead of trying to juke the dude and pull Deontay Johnson and like go backwards or just go completely horizontal and not pick up anything. You're a big back. Use your size to your advantage. And there'd be many times where he just wouldn't do it. He wouldn't use the size to his advantage. And he would try to juke and it'd be too slow and just very weird. But now he looks like he's doing everything right. When it's time for him to be physical, he does that right. When it's time for him to make a slick juke move, doing it right. Being the finesse back at the perfect time. And then jumping over dudes. Like, hey, man, this is the best I've seen from Najee Harris. 300-yard games in a row, efficient. 19 carries, 114 yards, 6 yards a carry. I actually kind of wish, and yeah, it's weird because we didn't really need him as bad in the second half because Russ was heating up. Russ was cooking. But yeah, it's almost like I wish we would have got him the ball more in the second half because I think by the end of the first half, he was at like 80-something yards. So, yeah, it's almost like he could have had a better game if we would have kept feeding him. He could have had maybe $150, $160. But still, had an all-around really good game. Got to give the dude props. If Najee's playing like that, I think he'll be a Steeler for a long time. Dre Steel City says Minka's name has not been called all season. Yeah, I pointed that out at the beginning when I was talking about the defense and how they've been struggling and just not looking right at all. They've not been living up to expectations. And Minka, I think, yeah, today was a weird game for him. Definitely. It was one of those where he felt actually a little bit of a liability at times. Whereas other games, you're seeing him clean up the garbage plays made by a bunch of the other defenders on the Steelers defense. But this one, yeah, there wasn't there was times where there wasn't some pretty things happening with Minka. Fields 2024. This is kind of a good point. Says he's not, you talking about Najee. He's not getting hit before he breaks the line of scrimmage. Yeah, that's part of it. I'll give you that. I think we've been run blocking actually pretty decent. Now, part of that could be Russell Wilson being here and the way that Russell Wilson's playing, and he's throwing the deep ball, opening things up for the running game. Could be the O-line, because we actually have a little bit of continuity with this offensive line over the last few weeks. And also the fact that we have Arthur Smith. We have a competent offensive coordinator that isn't just calling predictable plays down in and down out like a Matt Canada. I don't know if there's – you guys tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know if there's a time that I watched this game today or watched the last however many games and said, I know this is going to be a passer. I know this is going to be a run. It hasn't even been a thought that crossed my mind, because it feels like on any given down, we can either pass or run, no matter what formation it is. And yeah, it keeps the defenses guessing, keeps me guessing. Again, I'm not really thinking, oh, this is predictable. Look, this is going to be a run to the right. This is going to be a run to the left. Meanwhile, that happened all the time when Matt Canada was coordinator. First and second down. Oh, we got this heavy personnel out there. Najee Harris, run up the middle. With Arthur Smith, now it could be first down, heavy personnel. We do a play action. We could do a screen. A lot of nifty plays from Arthur Smith, man. He's been a godsend for this offense. I think he's been awesome. Black Lavender says Van Jefferson and CA stepped up, but imagine this team with a real deal number 1B or a number 2. Yeah, that is if they come here and live up to their reputation of being a 1B or a 2. Like, if that's a guarantee, like, you're right. Who would be an example? I guess Darius Slayton. If Darius Slayton comes in here and he's playing like that week in and week out and doesn't have any struggles with hopping on a moving train and getting familiar with a new scheme, new quarterback, new coordinator, all that stuff, then you're right. I just wonder if some of that will be at play if we trade for one of these new receivers. Whereas Calvin Austin, Van Jefferson, they've been around for a minute, and this is their only second game with Russell Wilson. I wonder, after seeing what's happened these last 2 games, if we'll see more of this going forward and they'll be able to pick up on this momentum and become legitimate threats in this offense like we haven't seen in those first 6 weeks. Tommy Vincent asks, who's out there, though? Slayton is good, but how much better than Austin? Yeah, I mean, there's guys, Darius Slayton, Mike Williams, Adam Thielen, Jerry Jeudy, although I don't know if the Browns are going to be looking to trade him like that after seeing what Jameis Winston and their offense did. And since we're AFC North rivals with them too, I don't know how likely they are to be trading with us to begin with. Fields 2024. He reiterated my point that I made 10, 15 minutes ago. He says the main reason we need another receiver is for depth. And I agree with that. Maybe it doesn't even matter if we trade for a Darius Slayton or a Mike Williams and they have impact right away. Maybe it's just for them to come here and be depth to start. And then maybe after a month or so, they work their way up to being out on the field a decent amount. Black Lavender says, throw the house for Cooper Kupp and DK. I'd be about that. I'd be about making a trade for Cooper Kupp or DK. I like that. I don't think the Rams are trading Kupp anymore. I don't think the Seahawks are trading DK. Yeah, Seahawks are. Wait, what's the Seahawks record? Aren't they 4-3? Are they 4-4? Did they lose this week? Oh, I forgot what happened with. I think they did lose this week. Are they 4-4? Yeah, the whole NFC West is like wide open because the Niners are at 4-4. I think the Cardinals are at 4-4, but I don't think they're looking to trade DK like that because they probably consider themselves still in the mix for the NFC West, which rightfully so. They are clearly still in the mix at 4-4. Yeah, they lost to the Bills. Yeah. I remember now. Yeah. Let me see what else I got here that I wanted to talk about. Oh, I did mention I was going to talk about the Pickens catch, no catch. I'm not even mad at Pickens for that, to be honest. I'm not. Now, he should know the rule because it's his job to know the rule. But if you get 2 feet down, I don't care if it's the same foot, it should be a catch. It's a stupid rule. Did anyone know about this rule before it happened? Why does it feel like it's always Steeler games that we find this new rule that's never been called, but all of a sudden in our game, it takes place and you're just like scratching your head. What? Why is this even a rule? Does this make sense? I didn't even know this was a rule. The Jesse James catch. Perfect example of that. What? Complete the catch. When has this happened before? Oh, they called this like 5 years ago. Look, this Calvin Johnson replay in this Bears game where Calvin Johnson clearly catches the ball, but then he puts it on the ground. He needed to complete the catch. What? I never even heard of this before. What? Why does it happen in the Steeler game? Right when we're about to win it. What? Remember the Le'Veon Bell helmet one? 2-point conversion on Thanksgiving. Got to have it game against the Ravens. Crosses the goal line. 2-point conversion. We get the 2 points. But his helmet comes off like an inch away from the goal line. They say, oh, you have to stop it right then and there. That doesn't make sense. What? Why is it always these Steeler games that bogus rules pop up and I'm hearing about them for the first time? So I feel like if you get 2 feet in, it should just be a catch. If you're talking about a receiver getting their thigh down or like their knee down, that counts as 2 feet. Why doesn't 2 feet count as 2 feet, even if it's the same foot? Didn't make sense to me. Now, Pickens, again, should know. He's the professional. He's doing this for a living. Just get that left foot down, man. Get that left foot down. That's the type of stuff that separates what you've been doing against Antonio Brown, Justin Jefferson, like the elite guys. If you could get these details buttoned up, then we'll start talking about you in that light. But that's right there. That's a touchdown and an extra, probably like, was that 10, 15 yards off his box score? Should have had like 5 receptions, 90 yards, and a touchdown. Should have had the touchdown to start the game too on that first series, but Broderick Jones had the holding penalty. And that's another reason why I'm not that worried about this offense right now, because the offense is passing the eye test. We're not going to go 0 for 4 in the red zone again. I don't see that continuing. But we've been moving the ball at a really, really nice clip. Russ has got this thing moving in an efficient manner. So I think we're going to convert more and more in the red zone as time goes on. At least get 2 of 4 in the red zone. Like, come on, 2 of 4 in the red zone. That's an extra, how many points? That's an extra 8 points right there. We end up with 34. We just go 2 of 4 in the red zone. If Broderick Jones doesn't have that penalty and Pickens grazes that left foot, that's 34 points right there. And it still could have been better. But the other thing about that Pickens catch, why did we challenge it? Why? How is Tomlin that bad at challenges? How? They were saying on the broadcast that the reason it's not a catch is because the rule is it can't be the same foot. So you can't be challenging the rule. Now, I agree. We should challenge the rule in the offseason or whatever, because I think it's a terrible rule. It's a bogus rule. But you can't change the fact that it's a rule in the middle of the game. How is it possible? How is it possible where Tomlin keeps making his record for challenges even worse, and even in like more head scratching ways? Like, wow, what? It's unbelievable. And we could have used that timeout. at the end of the first half. We really could have used that timeout as we were trying to get in the field goal range. Just unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Shout out to Cam Hayward, though. Longest tenured defensive player in Steeler history in terms of for games played. 202. Tonight made it official. Now, whenever I heard about that stat, I heard about it before the game. Someone told me before the game, and I was like, what? Really? I was confused. I was like, does that make sense? Are we sure? He's played more games than some of those dudes on defense in the 70s. Joe Green, Jack Lambert, Mel Blount, like those guys. Are we sure? But I guess it would maybe make sense from a playing standpoint, because if the stat was most starts by defensive player, I don't think Cam Hayward is in the conversation right now, because you got to think for his first 3-4 years, he wasn't the definitive starter like that, or at least for his first two. He was more of a rotational piece. So maybe he can break that starting record if he's able to play out his contract, but I still don't think he's on that level of probably some of those guys from back in the day. That's my guess. But I was surprised. I would have guessed that, even though it is just games played, that it would have been someone from the 70s. But shout out to Cam, man. Shout out to Cam. I think it just goes to show his longevity is one of the best in the league. He's been able to stay healthy for the most part. And yeah, he's been playing good too. You're not playing all those games if you're not producing and actually doing good stuff for us and doing it for that long of a time. So good for him, man. And he's turning back the clock this year. You heard it on the broadcast that Cam took to heart. He kept all the receipts from people that were questioning if he still had it, if he was washed, if the injury's been too much for him to overcome. He's kept the receipts, and he's been playing like Cam Hayward of old this year. He's been playing really, really good. It's funny that they said that Tomlin was actually one of those people saying that stuff to Cam Hayward and to Cam Hayward's face. Pretty funny. Tomlin keeps it straight. He's going to shoot it straight. All right, let me see what else we got here. Defense. Yeah, I just going back to the defense, I don't even know what to think. Shout out to Beanie Bishop for the pick at the end of the game. But just the fact that Danny Dimes and that Giants offense had a chance to legitimately tie it up at the end didn't make me happy. Now, part of that was the offense not doing their job for the last two series, but the defense throughout was getting gashed, man. Getting gashed. Now, I guess you could say bend but don't break and everything, but I felt like the Giants were their own worst enemies throughout a good portion of that game, with the penalties they were inflicting on themselves, and how the defense was our defense was getting bailed out a little bit by those penalties, but also even some of the drops and the miscues that Giants players were having. So what they're putting out, well, I guess my point is this Steelers defense is putting out there, it doesn't feel sustainable. Like we're gonna have to start buttoning things up going forward, because I'm not exactly liking what I'm seeing. Now, you could say maybe, yeah, we did have this bend but don't break approach. We were just going to stop them when they got into the red zone. We were going to make sure we kept the lid on it, but I don't know, bro. I don't know. There was a couple times where, yeah, there were touchdowns that the Giants had, and we kind of skated by on them. We got lucky. Can't necessarily say that, oh, that was the strategy for the Giants to get a penalty there on a illegal motion, or Malik Neighbors to barely miss toe tapping in the end zone. You get what I mean? Giants 2-point conversion was giving Colts versus Patriots. I don't remember that. I really don't remember that. I'm going to have to look that up. That was a bad play. Yeah, it was terrible. I don't know what that was. Have no clue. Joey, not sold on Russ. It says, I'll wait a few more games on Russ. His time in Denver is still on my mind. Nah, bro, he's back. Nah, he's back. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, he's back. Trust me on this. Trust me. All it took for me was like 3/4 of that Sunday night football game against the Jets. He's back. Russ is back. Trust me. He's actually moving halfway decent too. He's moving pretty good. Got the mobility back there, the arm strength obviously there. He's making quick reads. He's doing his thing. Fields 2024 says Broderick is in a crazy sophomore slump. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. He's been hurting us too much this year. But it's been steady enough that we keep putting him out there. I guess you could give him credit for that, but these penalties have been backbreaking at times. They've not come in a timely manner. Definitely not. Manny Meek says, outside of the fumble, Russ didn't make a big mistake today. No, he didn't. Yeah. No, he played awesome until that fumble. Yeah, I would have given him, if I was to give him a grade before that fumble, I would give him probably close to an A+, really. Played really good. He should have had 3 touchdowns. If it wasn't for the Broderick holding, if it wasn't for the Pickens no toe tap. That would have been 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards, and closing out the game like it should have been. Like, the Giants wouldn't have even had a chance. Would have been an A+ type of game for Russ. But probably A- if you want to throw the fumble in there. And then we also had another chance with that final series when we got the ball back from the TJ Watt strip sack. I guess, you know what? Yeah, if I'm going to be ripping on the defense, we do got to talk about some of the good things that did happen, because there were some good things that happened. Obviously, TJ Watt playing like the deep boy. Just give the man the award right now. 2 sacks, 1 a strip sack at the end of the game at the clutchest of times. 2 QB hits as well. I guess, do the QB hits count as sacks? I guess they do. I don't know. But yeah, 2 sacks, 1 of them a strip sack at the end. 7 total tackles, 5 solo. Alex Highsmith was balling out too. Yeah, they were cooking the Giants tackles. They were getting after it. You got to give credit to Danny Dimes too, because TJ Watt probably could have had 3 or 4 sacks in this one. He was getting there pretty quick, but Jones hung in there tough. Like, I don't think you can question the dude's toughness. Now, you can question some of the throws he makes at times, like the one at the end that got picked off by Beanie Bishop, but you at least respect the dude tries to make plays and hangs in there. He's got talent. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to a different situation, a la Sam Darnold down the line, and is able to have like a second stint to his career, like almost Geno Smith as well. Something like that. But yeah, it's just not there with him and the Giants. It's not working. But I see fight in him. I see plays. I see moments. I mean, he looks decent at times. He's looked decent at times throughout the course of this year, not only just in this game, seeing him firsthand play the Steelers, but he's had his moments throughout the course of the season. I'll give the dude credit. But yeah, Beanie Bishop obviously with the pick. Landon Roberts played good. He was getting after it in the run game. Sean Elliott was all right. He was all right. I don't think this was his best game, but also solid. Joey Porter Jr., not bad. Not bad. I thought he was pretty good. So, yeah, I mean, TJ and Highsmith, they were the highlights of today's game on the defensive side, no doubt. All right, guys, I don't think I got any more things to talk about here. I don't know what else there is to recap. Win's a win, man. We're 6-2 going into the bye. And we'll be getting healthy. We'll be getting our full arsenal back after for when we go up against the Commanders in Week 10. Zach Frazier should be back. Cordell Patterson. We're going to be getting Cam Sutton. Nick Herbig. Hopefully he's back. Like, 6-2 and pretty much fully healthy. And our offense humming at the best clip that we've seen, not only this season, but probably over the last 2 or 3 seasons. Defense needs to play better, though. Defense needs to play better, because this isn't close to the best this defense has played over the last 2-3 years and what they're capable of. This hasn't really been it recently. Here's hoping they get it back together, though. And shout out to special teams. I already know I mentioned Calvin Austin with the punt return, but Boswell again makes all of his field goals. Thanks to Russ in the offense, they were much shorter than what he's had to deal with for other times this season. But Boswell on the money and Corliss Wayton. Another good punting performance from him. Had that really nice one at the end of the game. Backed the Giants up all the way to the 5. But that's it, man. X Concepts 1 says it best right now. We're kings of the North right now. But that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter midway through the season. So let's not go too crazy. Let's act like we've been here before. Let's act like we know what it's like. Stay humble. Stay focused. We got a whole second half of the season. We got all of our AFC North games ahead of us too. So let's just lock in. Try to replicate what the start of this season was. If we can go 6-2, that's 12-4. Obviously, there's an extra game there. If we can finish 12-5 or 13-4, I will take it. I will absolutely take it. But that's it for today's post-game report. Steelers Giants Monday Night Football. Good win by the Steelers. It was an annoying win, but ultimately it was a win with enough good signs that got me feeling like we're Super Bowl contenders. We're just as much in the mix as any other team in the league right now. All right. I'm out of here. Stay chilling. Peace.